He's Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan head coach. You can check out the Super Bowl special edition of Attack Each Day. It's Harbaugh's podcast out tomorrow. Get new episodes every Tuesday at podcastone.com, the Podcast One app, and Apple Podcasts. Continental Tire Coach's Corner, and we welcome in Jim Harbaugh. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing okay. A little tired, but, man, that had a lot of excitement last night. Where'd you watch the game last night?
I watched the game at my mom and dad's, and watched all your stuff with Brother John on the set. You guys did a phenomenal job.
He was
Very
great.
Professional. It must have been a long day for you.
Yep, long day, but your brother did great and had some fun. And, I love the fact that he wanted to be great. Throughout the day, he kept saying, just tell me what I need. And he's coachable. I don't know if you are, but I know that John is coachable, Jim.
He definitely is. He texted. We were texting a little bit. We were telling him how great he was doing, and he was very complimentary of you and everybody that was on your team. Very, very professional was the word he used, and he was very, very impressed.
What do you make of what happened yesterday? Where do you want to start? Was there a key play, a turning point that stood out to you?
I think the place to start is wow. That was a wonderful, great game. A credit to football is when I turned off that set. That's what I thought. I thought all involved players, coaches. That was a magnificent football game.
The Patriots defense, where they had been playing well, but it felt like they never got any kind of rhythm. I know Malcolm Butler got benched here, but how surprised were you that the Eagles were that good offensively, considering Nick Foles is in there, not Carson Wentz?
I thought both offenses were tremendous. I mean, great game plans on both sides. Josh McDaniels deserves a lot of credit. Play calling was outstanding. I thought the offenses were able to keep the defenses off balance with their play calling, and the quarterbacks were tremendous. I mean, did they miss a throw? Maybe one or two, but the accuracy of the throws, the catches. I mean, there weren't any drops. It was just unbelievable. I thought Alshon Jeffries. I mean, he was tremendous. I mean, it was just you go right down the line, and I thought just both teams. The other thing that stood out was the energy, the fitness that both teams had. Neither team. They were playing all concerned. Were playing great in the fourth quarter and throughout the game. It was several things stood out that was just plus for the game of football.
I don't know if Doug Peterson is factoring in Brady, but he wasn't afraid to go on fourth down, and there were a couple of them. There was fourth and goal when you got the touchdown with Foles. Also, with 5 minutes to go, he has the fourth down pass to Zach Ertz. I mean, there's two ways to look at it. You're really confident in your offense, and he was not afraid to go on fourth down during the regular season. But also, you don't want to give the ball back to Tom Brady, and it felt like that factored in on that final fourth down call that they had with 5 minutes to go. Is that how you saw that as a coach? Yeah.
They were trailing at the time, and they go for it, 4th and 1. They ran a mesh play. They picked beautifully. Zach Ertz on the crossing route. You could see the pick play, and it was well executed. wasn't called as a penalty, but that was a huge play in the game.
Talking to Jim Harbaugh, he's got a podcast that comes out every Tuesday. It's called Attack Each Day, the Harbaugh's podcast, and I say plural because his father's part of that. And it's out tomorrow, every Tuesday, podcastone.com, the Podcast One app, and Apple Podcast. Also, when you have this coaching mentality there, when you have Foles, it didn't feel like they were shrinking the playbook on him. It felt like they were saying, hey, go out and go toe-to-toe.
No, you're right.
Right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just thinking that in my head as I was watching the game, and just now, I mean, the amount of offense that was in that the Eagles had and the Patriots had in the game, it was a big volume, and it was all executed well. I mean, no pre-snap penalties, no very few post-snap penalties. It appeared like there was very few mental mistakes. I mean, they were tight in all areas. You didn't see any blown coverages. Offensively, no. They weren't on the same page. It was really tight. Both teams were outstanding that way, and then the quarterbacks and receivers were making the tight throws, making the tough catches. It was really phenomenal. I mean, just a marvelous, from an execution standpoint. I thought on all sides, offense, defense, both teams really. It was that great of a game.
Are you in your parents' kitchen right now?
No, I'm at the office.
Oh,
we're.
Oh, you're back at work.
Football. Back at work. I think there's going to be a lot to watch, and really you'll see a lot of coaches that'll be watching this game. You had the RPO factor. How did the Patriots attempt to defense? That scheme. I don't know how many run pass options there were in the game by Philadelphia. I'd be interested in knowing that. Exactly, and we'll study that. Didn't maybe a dozen throughout the game. I know it was talked a lot by your crew, and from a coaching standpoint, I said, when to say, okay, the Patriots with 2 weeks to defend that, how would they defend it? What was their approach? But I don't know. I couldn't tell how many RPOs Philadelphia actually run, but I would say it would be between 6 and 12 of what I could just see on television. But the off-balance nature. I mean, Philadelphia did a tremendous job of mixing their calls. They had a lot of volume in their offense, and again, just extremely impressed with how well they executed. Doug Peterson, phenomenal play calling, and Frank Reich deserves a ton of credit as the offensive coordinator. John DeFilippo, the quarterback coach. I mean, tremendous job. Starting quarterback gets hurt, Nick Foles. I mean, that story is just awesome. And right on down the line. I mean, watching the guys that I've coached and know on both sides of the team, like Cam Fleming and Johnson Batamosi and Zach Ertz and the Michigan guys, Brandon Graham and Tom Brady played great. It was an enjoyable game to watch. Just a credit to football.
Enjoy the offseason. Please tell your father we said hello, and always great to catch up with you, Jim.
Always a pleasure, Dan. Thank you.
All right, and that's Jim Harbaugh, a special edition of Attack the Day, the Harbaugh's podcast. Love his dad. Out tomorrow. Podcast1.com. Yeah, Paul.
You think the Harbaugh family there last night watching the game, Jim Harbaugh and his dad, the big dad, forearms, and every commercial break like, let's arm wrestle, and then the next break, let's slap box, and then they just go out in the backyard and hit each other with sticks for an hour.
They're probably breaking down plays, too. He's probably got a chalkboard there.
Whiteboard.
Yeah, chalkboard there. Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Continental Tire, proud to be the exclusive tire of the Dan Patrick Show. No matter where you are, what you drive, how you drive, Continental designs tires for what you do. For more information, visit ContinentalTire.com. Continental Tire for what you do.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.